It is 6:47 a.m. The sun is barely breaking through the tree line, casting a cold morning haze over the suburban street. You are standing next to your 2021 Honda CR-V EX. It is fully paid for. The title sits clean in a locked steel box inside your filing cabinet. According to the current market appraisal, this crossover is worth $14,200 less than the exact morning it left the dealership floor. $14,200. A few years ago, that loss would have felt like a failure. It would have felt like a slow burn in your chest, proof that your money was eroding while you slept. Now, that number is the only completely honest calculation in your financial life. Across the asphalt, the heavy garage door of the house opposite yours rolls upward with a rhythmic metallic rattle. Your neighbor, Marcus, backs out his brand new luxury sports sedan. The paint job is flawless. Metallic dark blue, metallic flake catching the weak morning sun. Custom 19-inch alloy wheels turning silently. Same street, same cold morning air. Two completely different financial destinies idling 10 feet apart. Marcus's sedan is objectively worth more than your Honda today. If both cars were put up for auction this minute, his vehicle would fetch more than twice what yours would bring in. But his bank account radically disagrees with the image on the driveway. Over the next 10 years, that silent disagreement between vehicle valuation and personal net worth is going to open into an unbridgeable gap of nearly $200,000. And neither of you will ever utter a single word about it over the property fence. Here is what nobody tells you on the showroom floor. A new car is no longer just a piece of physical machinery. It is an over-engineered subscription service fitted with a windshield. The dashboard technology feels groundbreaking on the test drive, but it becomes visually obsolete within 18 months. The driver assist radar suite requires proprietary hardware recalibration by year 3, just to keep accepting over-the-air firmware updates. You are no longer purchasing refined steel, mechanical balance, and long-term utility. You are buying a piece of rapidly degrading consumer electronics that happens to weigh 2 tons and roll on rubber tires, and consumer electronics lose their financial core the very second you break the factory seal. Showroom lighting is precisely calibrated to obscure that reality. The directional halogen spotlights, the polished marble tiles, the synthetic new car scent piped through the air ducts. It is all engineered to make you forget basic accounting. But that factory smell dissolves in 3 weeks. What remains after the fragrance dies is the monthly invoice. 4 years ago, you were Marcus. You wore the exact same mindset to work every morning. $687 a month, a clean, 36-month lease agreement. You held the contract in your hand, telling yourself you were just trying it out, keeping your options open, staying flexible in a shifting economy. By month 9 of that lease, that recurring transaction didn't feel like flexibility anymore. It felt like a micro-puncture in a tire that you couldn't locate. Never a sudden blowout, never an immediate emergency, just a relentless, quiet pressure drop that forced you back to the pump every single month. The turning point did not happen in a financial advisor's corner office. It did not come from reading a dense textbook on capital markets. It happened in the dreary waiting room of a dealership service department on a Tuesday afternoon. The air smelled of burnt drip coffee and ozone. Through the heavy plate glass window, you watched a service advisor calmly quote a young family over $3,000 for a transmission control fault on a vehicle that was barely 2 years old. You sat back in the plastic chair, pulled out a pen, flipped over an old coffee napkin, and finally ran your own numbers without lying to yourself. The math of automotive depreciation is ruthless, structured, and completely predictable. A brand new vehicle drops roughly 20% of its total market value within the first 12 months of registration. It surrenders another 15% across years 2 and 3 combined. But right around year 5, the downward curve flattens out. The car has already absorbed the violent impact of its initial fall. What remains on the driveway is a mechanical asset, with the vast majority of its functional life still intact, selling on the open market for less than half of its original sticker price. That isn't just a used crossover sitting on a lot. That is a reliable machine with its steepest financial toll already paid for, by somebody else. Consider where the broader market sits right now. The average new car payment in this country has surged past $900 a month. $900 every 30 days, 72 consecutive months. Over 6 full years of guaranteed cash outflows directed toward an asset whose primary economic characteristic is that it loses value every single time you turn the ignition key. That is not an asset purchase. That is paying premium rent on a compounding loss, with an option to own the remnant at the end. So, 4 years ago, you made a deliberate operational pivot. You walked past the shiny showroom floor display, walked right out to the back lot, and purchased a pre-owned 2021 CR-V EX with 41,000 logged miles. The price tag was $19,800. You paid for it in full. One bank draft, 0 percentage points of interest, 0 dealer origination fees, 0 extended service add-ons. The transaction began and ended on the exact same afternoon. The sales representative, a veteran named Reggie, processed the title transfer paperwork with a quiet, underlying amusement. When you asked if the detailing crew could give the carpet one final pass before you drove off, Reggie tossed the spare key onto the desk and shrugged. "It's completely paid for," Reggie said, looking up over his reading glasses. "You can get it detailed whenever you want for the rest of your life. That's what actually owning a car means." You didn't fully grasp the psychological depth of that sentence until 8 months down the road. Hanging from that metal ignition key was a faded, slightly worn rabbit's foot keychain, a left-behind artifact from the original owner. Your initial impulse on the dealership lot was to unhook it and toss it directly into the trash bin outside the office door, but you hesitated. You left it attached. It remained on the ring, a slightly absurd, tactile reminder dangling next to a key set that owed money to no institution on Earth. Here is the key financial mechanism that most people miss. The money you choose not to spend on an escalating car payment does not simply vanish into thin air. It remains in your bank account, ready to be deployed. Instead of matching Marcus's $850 monthly outlay for a luxury badge, you established an automated bank transfer, $850 every single month, routed instantly into a low-cost, broad-market index fund on the first morning of the month. It was the exact long-term strategy your accountant, Priya, had been laying out on her whiteboard for years while you were still locked into the lease cycle. At a historical average return of 8% compounded annually, an $850 monthly contribution accumulates to more than $35,000 in 36 short months. That is not extraordinary luck. That is not hitting a winning stock pick. That is simply capital that stopped being transferred to auto manufacturing shareholders and stayed in your own balance sheet. Following the general consensus of the crowd is not a financial strategy. It is simply a bad habit wearing an expensive suit. 8 months into ownership, winter arrives. It is a freezing morning in mid-February. Across the street, the hood of Marcus's luxury sedan is pulled up. A tow truck's amber lights flash against his garage doors. The vehicle's transmission control module has suffered an electronic failure, a documented issue for that specific model run, though the dealership service bulletin carefully categorizes it as an isolated component anomaly. Marcus is 4 months beyond his factory warranty window. The line item invoice for the module replacement, diagnostic time, and system recalibration comes to $3,100. Because he has been maximizing his monthly cash flow to afford the baseline vehicle payment, there is no designated emergency reserve sitting in his checking account. The $3,100 charge goes directly onto a high-interest credit card, stacked right on top of the auto loan principal he is actively servicing. The debt doesn't clear. It simply finds a new vehicle to compound against his future. That exact same week, your Honda CR-V signals for routine service. It needs an $80 oil change and a new cabin air filter. You order the filter online for $19, step out into the driveway on a Saturday afternoon, and complete the installation yourself in under 5 minutes. The faded rabbit's foot keychain dangles from the ignition slot, swaying gently as you test the HVAC fan. That pair of competing invoices, Marcus's $3,100 emergency credit card charge versus your $19 maintenance fix, is the precise moment the mathematics transitions from abstract spreadsheet theory into raw reality. You make a firm decision right then and there. You are going to run this capital allocation experiment for 5 full years, not 3. Fast forward 5 years into the experiment. The baseline parameters remain steady. $850 deployed per month into broad market index assets, earning an average 8% return, compounding on a monthly cycle. Your investment account balance quietly crosses $62,000. Marcus, over that identical 5-year timeline, has poured over $55,000 out of his household cash flow into 2 consecutive automotive loan contracts. At month 40, feeling the itch for updated dashboard displays and fresh warranty coverage, he traded in his first sedan while sitting $4,000 upside down on the equity curve. The dealership finance manager smoothly rolled that $4,000 deficit straight into the principal balance of his next 60-month loan. 5 years into his journey, Marcus is driving a vehicle with a private party value of $31,000 while carrying $39,000 of active debt against it. You, on the other hand, are driving a Honda CR-V with a current resale market value of roughly $10,000. But sitting right behind that $10,000 physical car is $62,000 of fully liquid, interest-bearing capital. The real-world wealth gap between your driveway and his has expanded beyond $90,000. Yet it will never come up during weekend casual conversation over the lawnmower. People almost never state the true lifetime cost of their status choices out loud. 3 more years pass in the sequence. The calendar turns to 2029. Marcus has just signed papers on his 3rd consecutive new vehicle lease. He describes the move to the neighborhood as staying current with autonomous safety features and active battery technology. You privately recognize it for what it actually is: a permanent, unceasing subscription fee paid for the temporary perception of status. Your Honda's odometer now reads 96,000 miles. The cheap rabbit's foot on the keyring has faded from bright pink to a muted gray, from years of sunlight hitting the ignition column, but the engine turns over smoothly on the very first crank, every single morning. This isn't backwoods luck or magical thinking. It is the direct compounding outcome of fundamental mechanical maintenance performed strictly on schedule: fluids changed, spark plugs replaced, brake pads refreshed before metal touches metal. The index investment account, continuously fed by that uninterrupted $850 every 30 days, has surged to nearly $132,000. You haven't withdrawn a single penny. During your annual tax review, Priya pulls up the portfolio summary on her monitor, tilts her head, and smiles. She points at the total balance line and calls it the CR-V that bought a suburban rental property. What started as a napkin calculation in a greasy dealership waiting room has entirely stopped being a joke. There is a distinct human element to this process that no financial software can capture. Your partner, Elena, notices that you have grown progressively quieter when money topics emerge during weekend dinners with friends. It isn't secrecy or arrogance. It is simply that you are entirely done arguing. When Marcus goes into detail at a neighborhood gathering about his latest lease negotiations, highlighting how he managed to shave $40 off his monthly outlay by adjusting his annual mileage cap, you used to step in with counter calculations. Now, you just smile, sip your drink, and nod along politely. There is an underlying compound formula running in the background of your life that he is simply not ready to evaluate yet. Choosing an unconventional financial path invariably means stepping completely out of the standard social conversation. You don't look down on people who remain locked inside the vehicle replacement loop. You remember precisely what it felt like to be on that treadmill, convincing yourself that a monthly car payment was as unavoidable as a utility bill. But once your eyes are open to how velocity of capital actually works, you cannot unsee the cost. Living free of consumer debt buys tangible emergency protection. But more importantly, it buys an unshakable form of internal self-reliance that no longer requires external validation from the cars parked in neighboring driveways. You spend far less energy trying to justify your lifestyle to others, and far more energy simply enjoying the freedom it produces. The timeline reaches the spring of 2031. The CR-V's odometer rolls over to 148,000 miles. On an unseasonably warm April afternoon, the original metal ring holding the faded rabbit's foot finally fatigue fractures and snaps off. Instead of throwing the worn trinket into the recycling bin, you gently place it inside the glove compartment box, nestling it right alongside 9 full years of neatly organized, itemized service invoices. 9 years of records. An oxygen sensor replaced at mile 92,000. Front rotors turned at mile 110,000. A routine transmission fluid flush completed right on schedule. Not one late fee. Not $1 of predatory loan interest compounding against your family's future while you slept at night. The index portfolio, left completely undisturbed to compound, now crosses $198,000. Think about that number for a moment. You did not generate that cushion by mastering high-risk day trading. You did not build it by working 80-hour work weeks until your health collapsed, or by negotiating a slightly lower interest rate on an overpriced lease contract. You constructed it simply by refusing to allow a depreciating piece of driveway metal to define what financial progress looks like in the first place. Marcus looks across the lawn at your 10-year-old vehicle and sees an aging, ordinary commuter car that has lost its shine. You look at that exact same car and see a fully funded retirement bridge, a paid-for college tuition tier, or the absolute freedom to walk away from a toxic job without checking your bank balance first. So here is the foundational question, the only inquiry that holds any real weight once the showroom lights are turned off and the slick sales pitches fade away. What are you paying out of your paycheck today for something that is guaranteed to be worth less tomorrow? And what could that exact same stream of capital have built for your life instead, if you had simply chosen to keep it in your own hands? Look out at your driveway this morning, count the wheels, count the payments, then pull out a blank piece of paper, sit down at your kitchen table, and run your own numbers.